Welcome back. This isn't a regular episode, but rather a shorter format. As you can see, I'm currently working on a 2K12 Cube, or as most of you know it, the SA6 Gainful, and I'm almost done with the construction part, so I'll soon be moving on to editing the video for you. But in the meantime, something arrived, so let's do an unboxing together. First, let's hide my shipping details so I don't accidentally dox myself. Once again, the shop did an outstanding job with delivery time, so big shout out to moyhobby.pl. Alright, let's open the package. Yeah, of course it's upside down. Yes, this is the brand new, this year release, one of the coolest Komi tracks ever, the Zil-130. And it's made by Zvezda. Now, many modelers consider Zvezda kits to be low quality crap, myself included, but I've heard that the modern Zvezda is actually pretty good and they've improved drastically. I don't know for sure though, since I've never built any of their kits. The only other Zvezda model I have in my stash is UAZ Buchanka aside from this Zil. We'll find out in the future if these kits are actually any good, when it's time to start building. But I can't do it thirsty, so today it's cherry Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is the drink of intellectuals. If you get that reference, then you know. The box art is pretty nice, very colorful with warm tones and farm setting showing the Zil carrying grain. At the bottom it says Gruzowy Automobilny Zil-130, which basically just means Zil-130 truck. No, I don't know Ukrainian, Russian or Belarusian, I just know the Cyrillic alphabet. I can't understand the language, but I can read it and kinda pick out a few words here and there. On the side we have some info about the model, along with pictures of other kits, like that Buchanka I'll be building soon or some other trucks. On the back there is a picture of assembled model and some info about what the Zil-130 actually is. I actually remember seeing these trucks on our roads when I was a kid, especially as I dump trucks on construction sites. But if you are not from Central or Eastern Europe, I would assume you've never seen a truck like this in your life. Alright, enough yapping. Let's take a look inside. Notice that this isn't your typical lift the lid box, instead it opens from the side. And inside there is another box, plain cardboard with no markings whatsoever. First thing we see is this little string bag containing some goodies. We have a shiny sticker meant for the mirrors. It's pre-cut to the mirror size and it's big enough that I might even use it for mirrors on other models. Next up we have the decals. They look decent, the markings are crisp and the text is readable. Honestly, a pretty nice looking decal sheet. I can't tell yet if they are thin and easy to work with, but I'll check that when I actually start building. The clear parts look good at first glance. I don't see any weird seam lines and the transparency is excellent. We should be able to see the inside of the truck without any problems. For the wheels we get rubber tires. They look fine. The only markings are the tire size, no brand name. I know a lot of modelers don't like rubber tires and prefer plastic ones, but I don't mind them. Maybe in the future when I'm super pro modeler I'll have stronger opinions on this. Now the sprues. There are 4 of them. The number of parts feel just right, enough to make the model look good and decently detailed, but not so many that it becomes overwhelming or tedious to build. Up close the molds look crispy and fresh, with no flash at all. There are no annoying ejector marks visible, at least none that really catch the eye. If you spot any that I missed, let me know in the comment. The next sprue contains the engine parts. Looks like we'll be able to build a model with a visible, nicely detailed engine. A cool thing is that the engine rollers and belts are made from plastic as a single piece. I've built a Trumpeter Gas 66 before which had separate rollers and a belt made from 3 tiny photo etched triangles, and it was nightmare to assemble. These plastic belts are a very welcome surprise. The engine valve covers have a nicely molded Zil logo. Great detail. I'll paint the logo silver so it really stands out. Overall the parts on this sprue looks very clean with no flash. Maybe the wipers looks a bit goofy. I feel they're a little odd, but maybe that's just me. And there's something I've never seen before. What is this? It looks like the sprue was cut and the area was painted over with some black paint or marker. Was this done to release tension in the plastic? Can anybody tell me what is this? On the next sprue we have truck cabin. I like that each sprue has different parts, one for the engine, another one for the frame, this one for the cabin and the last one for the bed. The parts aren't all mixed together, so building should be comfortable without constantly shuffling sprues around. And once again, no flash and crisp molds. And check out this beautiful Zil face, it looks so cute, I just love it. Let's take a look at the doors. As you can see, they're molded all together with the handles. It's not like, for example, trumpeter kits where all of this will be separate parts. You can assume the model is somewhat simplified for the ease of building. You can take that as a pro or a con. Up close, the handles and other details on the door look good, so I'd say the quality is solid. The last sprue contains truck bed. Again, no flash and crisp molding. The bed is made to represent wood, but there's no wood texture. That's something you'll have to add yourself, which makes for an interesting modeling challenge if you want to carve out the wood grain. Also, the handles and locking pins are molded together with the bed size. That makes me think Zvezda didn't really want you to build it with the bed open. If you decided to have the sides open, you'll have to cut and drill out the logs and scratch build them yourself. And that's it. Notice that there is no photo etched parts. Next we have some bullshit flyer. It says Procitie I zapomnite. What? There are other language, so let's see if they included mine. Oh, they meant read it and remember it. So of course I will not read it. Next we have painting schemes. Let's see if they are interesting. Here we have Estonian markings. It says Učebny. Oh, it's the marking for Learn to Drive truck from the 80s in Tartu city in Estonia. That's interesting, I haven't seen much Estonian markings in models. The second one is Zil from Rostov region, marked as Celinski APO Agroprom Trans. Whatever that may be. I looked on the internet what that could be, but found nothing. I guess this is some kind of state farm in Rostov. Maybe someone can share the knowledge in the comments? It also features the iconic blue cabin with white grille paint scheme. Next one is also the 80s Zil, but there is not much info about it. It is just some generic Zil paint scheme. It suggests to use the decal that basically means no passengers allowed. And the last one is Zil from Soviet contingent in Afghanistan in 1985. Plain, simple green paint scheme. In my opinion, the least interesting one. Last but not least, there's the instruction manual. On the first page it mentions that you can build the model with the doors and bonnet either closed or open. With an engine like that, it will be shame to keep the bonnet closed. Ideally, it would be the best if the bonnet were movable, so you could open and close it freely. We'll see later if I can come up with solution during the building stage. The build steps are very nicely printed and the instructions are clear and detailed. Compared to my usual trumpeter kits, this is very good. It is not quite at the level of Rayfield models, they have the best manuals I've ever seen, but it's perfectly serviceable. So, that was the Zil-130 from Zvezda. Honestly, I'm surprised as it looks like it will be a decent model to build. This is a fresh model, just released. It was supposed to be released May or June, but it was not available. If you are a Soviet junk enjoyer like myself, I suggest you to consider this model. It feels like it will be a simple and fun model with no hassle or excessive sanding. The model is new, fresh, but there are already detailing set available if you want to pimp out your Zil. For example, I've reserved Quinta Studio goodies for mine. It now goes into my stash and I will think about how to build it. And I'm going back to building 2K12 Cube, as I promised in previous episode that I will show you a proper Polish SAM system. See you soon!